Welcome to the Prescott Lab podcast, not just theory, practical science for everyone. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a physician and integrative medicine researcher at the Ravenshade Institute for Human Health. Gentlemen, picture this. It's the middle of the night. The kind of night where the air feels still and heavy, the moon spilling pale light across the bedroom floor. Your wife is asleep beside you, her breathing soft and steady. The house is silent until your bladder decides it isn't. You try to ignore it. You close your eyes, shift your position, tell yourself you can hold it. But the pressure builds and soon you're throwing back the covers, planting your bare feet on the cold floor and making that half-asleep walk down the hallway. By the time you get back into bed, your eyes are open, your mind is awake, and that deep, peaceful rest you were having is gone. For some men, this is an occasional annoyance. But for millions of men over 60, it's every single night. And it's not just the nights. The days carry their own reminders, the weak stream, the constant urgency, the quiet frustration of planning your errands around restroom locations. Now here's the part that most men never hear. This isn't just aging. This isn't your body randomly turning on you. There are clear, specific reasons your prostate changes as you get older, reasons rooted in inflammation, hormones, and the way your cells handle damage over time. The good news, once you understand why it's happening, you can take control back. And that's exactly what we're doing in this episode. I'm going to break down the real causes behind prostate problems in men over 60 and then give you 5 powerful science-backed foods that fight those causes directly. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. And if this topic matters to you or to a brother, a friend, or a father, hit that like button. Not for me, but because every single thumbs up tells us this work is worth continuing. It's the fuel that lets us make more free, no-nonsense videos that give men the tools to reclaim their health. So let's start with the truth. Why do so many men over 60 struggle with their prostate in the first place? Why most men over 60 struggle with prostate problems. Gentlemen, let's step back for a moment. Before we talk about solutions, we need to understand the battleground. Because the prostate isn't just some random organ sitting there waiting to cause trouble. It's more like a small, overlooked workshop in your body, quietly shaping part of your vitality, your control, your comfort. And over time, things start to change inside that workshop. I've often told my patients, the problems you feel at 65 didn't start last week. They began years earlier, slowly, quietly, like water dripping on stone. You didn't notice the first signs because they were subtle. Maybe you woke up once in the middle of the night instead of sleeping straight through. Maybe your stream wasn't quite as strong as it used to be, but you brushed it off. And then 1 year becomes 5, 5 becomes 10, until one day the interruptions. The urgency, the frustration are woven into your daily life like background noise you can't shut off. There are 3 forces working against most men over 60. The first is chronic inflammation, a low, smoldering fire in your prostate tissue that never fully goes out. It might be sparked by poor diet, lack of movement, or even hidden infections, but once it starts, it slowly swells the gland, making every trip to the bathroom harder. The second is hormonal shift. As testosterone gradually declines, estrogen-like compounds start to take up more space in your system. It's a quiet, invisible tug-of-war. And in that battle, your prostate often ends up paying the price, growing larger and more sensitive. The third is oxidative stress, the body's version of rust. Over time, tiny bursts of damage chip away at healthy cells. Without enough antioxidants to keep them in check, these little attacks pile up, making your prostate less efficient, less resilient. When these 3 forces, fire, imbalance, and rust, work together, they create the perfect storm for the symptoms you know too well. Nights broken into pieces, days planned around restroom stops. The slow erosion of the confidence you used to take for granted. But here's the truth most men never hear. These forces aren't unstoppable. You can put out the fire, you can restore the balance, you can protect the cells. And you can do it without living in a doctor's office or filling your cabinet with bottles of pills. The first step is to fight that rust inside you, the oxidative stress that quietly fuels prostate enlargement and irritates the tissue from within. And to do that, we start with something so familiar, so ordinary, that you might never guess it's one of your strongest allies. It's bright red. It's sweet, tangy, and comforting on a winter evening. And when it's prepared the right way, it delivers one of the most powerful prostate protective compounds we know. 2 tomatoes, the lycopene defender. When I say tomatoes, you might picture a summer salad, a slice tucked into a burger, or that jar of pasta sauce sitting quietly in your pantry. But for your prostate, a tomato isn't just a food, it's a shield. and its armor is built from one of the most respected antioxidants in men's health, lycopene. I remember a patient named Richard, 70 years old, a retired firefighter. His handshake was still strong, but his eyes told another story. He admitted he hadn't sat through an entire movie in years without getting up 2 or 3 times. "Doc," he said with a tired smile, "I'm sick of missing the best scenes." Richard had tried the standard path medications that dulled his energy, restricting fluids at night, planning his evenings around the nearest restroom, but nothing gave him lasting relief. Then I asked a question no one else had. "How often do you eat tomatoes?" He laughed and said, "Only when they are in my burger." Here's what he didn't know. Inside that bright red flesh is lycopene, a carotenoid antioxidant that acts like rust-proofing for your prostate cells. Day after day, your body faces oxidative stress, the invisible rust that weakens tissues and makes them more prone to abnormal growth. Lycopene steps in quietly but powerfully, slowing that process, easing inflammation, and even helping regulate the hormonal signals that tell your prostate to grow or stay steady. And here's a twist most men never hear. Cooking tomatoes actually makes their lycopene more available to your body. That deep, rich sauce simmering on your stove can deliver more protection than a raw slice on a sandwich. Pair it with a healthy fat like olive oil or avocado, and you unlock even more of its power. I told Richard to make a few small but consistent changes. Tomato soup once or twice a week. Roasted tomatoes with olive oil and garlic. Fresh pasta sauce from real, ripe tomatoes, no sugar-loaded jars. 2 months later, he walked into my office with a grin I hadn't seen before. "Doc, I made it through the whole movie last weekend, didn't miss a thing." His nighttime trips dropped from 3 to 1, his stream felt steadier. And more than anything, he felt in control again. And here's something else worth knowing, gentlemen. Lycopene's talents don't stop at your prostate. That same antioxidant power also supports your heart, keeping your blood vessels more flexible and your circulation strong. It's been linked to healthier skin, the kind that holds its tone and heals faster, and even a lower risk of certain cancers, including some of the ones men fear most. So when you stir a pot of rich tomato soup or sit down to a plate of pasta with real slow-simmered sauce, you're not just feeding your prostate. You're investing in your heart, your skin, and your long-term resilience. That's the beauty of it, one familiar food doing quiet, powerful work in more places than you can see. Of course, lycopene is only one part of the strategy. To truly shift the course of your prostate health, you need to address another hidden driver, hormonal imbalance, the slow tilt in chemistry that stacks the odds against you. And for that, we turn to a small green vegetable with a reputation for being bitter, but with the right touch, it can become one of the most satisfying and powerful allies you'll ever have. 3 Brussels sprouts, the hormone balancer. If tomatoes are the bright, friendly neighbor you're happy to invite over, Brussels sprouts are the misunderstood cousin most people avoid at family gatherings. For decades, they've been the butt of dinner table jokes, overcooked, bitter, and pushed to the side of the plate. But gentlemen, when it comes to your prostate, these little green spheres are one of the most underestimated allies you could have. I'll never forget Henry, a 74-year-old retired postal worker. He'd been diligent about his health, eating broccoli and tomatoes regularly after our earlier talks, but his progress had stalled. His nights were still broken, and that constant sense of urgency hung over his days like a shadow. When I suggested Brussels sprouts, he wrinkled his nose and said, "Doc, I haven't touched those since my mother made me eat them in 1962. I smiled and told him, "Then it's time to rewrite that memory." You see, Brussels sprouts are rich in a compound called indole 3-carbinol, or I3C. Think of I3C as a specialized cleaning crew for your hormones. As men age, testosterone levels tend to dip, while estrogen-like compounds, often from processed foods, environmental sources, and even your own metabolism, begin to rise. It's a quiet, invisible shift, but it tips the balance toward prostate growth. I3C helps your liver process and flush out those excess estrogen-like compounds more efficiently, restoring a healthier hormonal balance. It's like unclogging the filter in an old engine. Once the flow is clean, everything runs smoother. For your prostate, that means less swelling, less irritation, and fewer bathroom interruptions. But here's the catch: the way you prepare Brussels sprouts changes everything. The soggy, boiled versions of your childhood are gone the moment you roast them with olive oil, sea salt, and a sprinkle of pepper until their edges are golden and crisp. Suddenly they are sweet, nutty, and satisfying, more like a treat than a chore. Henry took my advice. He started roasting them in batches, keeping a container in the fridge to warm up with dinner. Within weeks, he noticed his urgency fading and his nights becoming quieter. At his next visit, he told me he'd slept 5 hours straight for the first time in years. And the pride in his voice wasn't just about the sleep, it was about sticking with a change he once swore he'd never make. Beyond prostate health, Brussels sprouts bring other gifts. They're high in fiber for better digestion, packed with vitamin C for your immune system, and rich in antioxidants to protect your cells from damage. They're not flashy, they're not trendy, but they're dependable, like an old friend who shows up when you need them most. Still, hormones are only one piece of the prostate puzzle. Even with balance restored, another hidden enemy can undermine your progress: chronic inflammation. To tackle that, we turn to a food with a bold personality, one that can transform the flavor of an entire meal and quietly turn down the heat inside your body where it matters most. For garlic, the circulation booster. Garlic has a way of announcing itself. You smell it before you see it, and once it's in the pan, the whole kitchen changes. Some men avoid it because they think it's too strong. Others embrace it like an old friend, tossing it into nearly every meal. But gentlemen, when it comes to your prostate, garlic is far more than flavor. It's a quiet warrior against one of your most stubborn enemies: chronic inflammation. I often explain inflammation to my patients this way. Imagine a campfire that's never fully put out. It smolders day and night, sending out little bursts of heat and smoke. Over time, it damages everything nearby. In your prostate, that constant low-grade fire makes the gland more sensitive, more swollen, and more likely to block the flow of urine. Garlic contains sulfur compounds, especially allicin, that help douse that fire. Allicin is formed when you crush or chop fresh garlic and let it sit for about 10 minutes before cooking. It's a potent natural anti-inflammatory, but it doesn't stop there. Garlic also improves blood flow, meaning more oxygen and nutrients reach your prostate tissue, helping it heal and function normally. One patient, Leonard, 68, had lived for years with pelvic pressure and too many nighttime trips to the bathroom. He'd tried medications, but they left him sluggish. When I suggested garlic, he laughed. "Doc, my wife's Italian, she'll love this." They began adding fresh, crushed garlic to nearly every dinner, sautéed with vegetables, blended into salad dressings, stirred into warm soups. 2 months later, Leonard's progress was undeniable. His nighttime trips dropped from 4 to 2, his urgency faded, and he described feeling lighter in his lower abdomen. And here's something important. When inflammation goes down in one part of your body, it often has a ripple effect. Leonard noticed his energy improving, his digestion felt better, and he even reported feeling warmer in his hands and feet, a sign of improved circulation. Beyond the prostate, garlic is a gift to your cardiovascular system. A healthy heart pumps blood more efficiently, and good circulation is essential for nourishing the prostate and keeping congestion at bay. Garlic also supports immune function, helping your body fight off the small infections that can sometimes aggravate prostate issues without you even realizing it. If you're new to garlic, start fresh, literally. Skip the powdered garlic and pre-chopped jars. They simply don't pack the same punch. Buy whole cloves, crush them, wait those crucial 10 minutes, then cook gently to preserve their power. Over time, you'll find garlic doesn't just enhance your meals, it becomes part of your body's quiet daily defense system. And yet, even as we tackle inflammation and improve circulation, there's another battle every man over 60 needs to fight: the silent rise of hormonal imbalance and hidden estrogen-like compounds that can tip the scale toward prostate growth. For that, we turn to a vegetable many men have eaten all their lives, without realizing it's been working for them in ways far beyond the dinner plate. 5. Broccoli, the anti-inflammatory engineer. Broccoli doesn't have the flash of exotic superfoods or the mystery of rare herbs. It's simple, familiar. The kind of thing your mother put on your plate when you were a kid, whether you wanted it or not. But gentlemen, simplicity can be deceptive. Broccoli is one of the most quietly powerful tools you have for protecting and even restoring prostate health. I think back to a patient named Walter, 72, a retired engineer. He approached his health like a blueprint, everything needed to make sense before he'd try it. Walter was frustrated not just by his nighttime bathroom trips, but by the fact that nothing seemed to work. Medications left him dizzy, supplements felt like guesswork, and he was determined to avoid surgery. When I reviewed his diet, I noticed something missing: cruciferous vegetables, especially broccoli. I told him, Walter, think of your prostate like a pipe that's getting clogged. Broccoli has a natural compound called sulforaphane. It's like sending in a cleaning crew to clear the buildup. Sulforaphane is a potent anti-inflammatory and detoxifying compound. Chronic inflammation is one of the main drivers of prostate enlargement, and sulforaphane helps shut it down at the cellular level. It also assists the body in removing excess estrogen-like compounds, something most men don't realize is just as important as boosting testosterone. Walter was skeptical, but he agreed to try. He began adding broccoli to his dinner 4 nights a week, lightly steamed to preserve the sulforaphane, sometimes tossed with olive oil and garlic, sometimes mixed into a medley with carrots and Brussels sprouts. 6 weeks later, his results were measurable. His nighttime bathroom trips dropped from 3 to 1. His urinary stream grew stronger. That constant nagging pressure in his lower abdomen faded. And here's the thing: broccoli's benefits don't stop at the prostate. It supports your liver in processing toxins, strengthens your immune system, and even offers compounds that may reduce the risk of certain cancers. It's high in fiber for better digestion and packed with vitamins that keep your metabolism running smoothly. The key is in the preparation. Avoid overcooking, which destroys sulforaphane. Light steaming is best, and pairing it with a small amount of healthy fat like olive oil boosts absorption. Think of broccoli not just as a vegetable, but as a natural medicine you can eat every week without side effects. Walter once told me, Doc, I never thought I'd be excited about broccoli, but I am. Because now I'm sleeping better, I'm more comfortable during the day, and I feel like I'm working with my body, not against it. And that's exactly the point. The right foods don't just treat symptoms. They change the environment inside your body so healing becomes possible. Which brings us to one final ally in this natural arsenal. It's not a vegetable at all, but a tiny, unassuming seed that delivers one of the most crucial minerals for prostate health, and most men aren't getting nearly enough of it. 6 pumpkin seeds, the zinc protector. They don't look like much. Just small, flat seeds with a soft green heart, often overlooked in the snack aisle or swept aside when carving a pumpkin in the fall. But gentlemen, pumpkin seeds are proof that some of the most powerful medicine for your prostate can fit in the palm of your hand. I met Samuel, 76, a retired teacher who'd been fighting the same frustrations for years: weak stream, constant urgency, and restless nights. He'd already taken to eating broccoli, tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, and garlic regularly. His symptoms had improved, but then they plateaued. When I asked about zinc in his diet, he looked puzzled. Zinc, I don't think I get much of that. And that was the missing piece. Your prostate contains more zinc than almost any other tissue in the male body. This mineral plays a crucial role in regulating hormones, especially testosterone and dihydrotestosterone (DHT). While DHT is important in small amounts, too much can trigger the prostate to grow larger. Adequate zinc helps keep DHT in check, slowing or even reversing enlargement over time. But zinc doesn't stop there. It strengthens the immune system, supports tissue repair, and contributes to healthy sperm production. For men over 60, zinc levels often decline, sometimes quietly without obvious signs, until symptoms begin to creep in. I told Samuel to start small: 1 ounce of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds a day. He kept a jar in his kitchen and another in the living room. Whenever he walked by, he grabbed a handful. Within a month, the difference was clear. He could watch his evening news without needing a break. His nighttime bathroom trips dropped. His flow felt stronger, more complete, and here's something I emphasize with every patient: pumpkin seeds are incredibly easy to work into your life. Sprinkle them over salads for crunch, blend them into smoothies, stir them into oatmeal, or just eat them as they are. The key is to keep them raw or lightly roasted, without heavy salt or flavorings that work against your health. Beyond the prostate, pumpkin seeds deliver magnesium for muscle function, healthy fats for heart health, and antioxidants to protect cells from damage. They're like a small insurance policy you can carry in your pocket: simple, inexpensive, and effective. Samuel still eats them daily. When he visits, he jokes, "Doc, I've got my prescription right here," holding up a little bag of seeds. And he's right, sometimes the best medicine doesn't come from a pharmacy. With pumpkin seeds, we complete the 5-part natural strategy: reducing inflammation, balancing hormones, improving circulation, shielding cells from oxidative damage, and restoring key nutrients. But knowing the tools is only half the battle. The real power comes from putting them into action consistently, week after week, until the changes become your new normal. 7. Conclusion. Gentlemen, over the years, I've seen countless men walk into my office carrying the same quiet burden: sleepless nights broken by bathroom trips, the constant low hum of discomfort during the day, the frustration of feeling like your own body has quietly shifted out of your control. Prostate problems don't steal your quality of life all at once. They chip away at it piece by piece, until you almost forget what it feels like to live without them. But here's the truth I've learned after decades of practice: it doesn't have to be this way. Your prostate didn't get into trouble overnight, and it won't heal overnight. But small, consistent changes, week after week, can create a transformation so profound that one day you'll wake up and realize you've taken your life back. These 5 foods: tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, garlic, broccoli, and pumpkin seeds, are more than just items on a grocery list. They are tools. Each one tackles the problem from a different angle: fighting inflammation, restoring hormonal balance, improving circulation, protecting cells, and replenishing vital nutrients. Alone, they help. Together, they form a defense system your body can count on. And I've seen what happens when men commit to this. They sleep through the night. They plan their days without mapping out the nearest restroom. They walk taller, feel lighter, and carry themselves with the quiet confidence of knowing they're not just enduring, they're winning. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one of these foods today. Just one. Add it to your plate this week. See how it feels, and let that small victory carry you to the next. This is how you build change, one deliberate step at a time. If you found this episode valuable, here's how you can help us keep going. Subscribe so you never miss the practical science we bring you every week. Like this video, not for me, but because every thumbs up tells the platform this is worth sharing with more men who need it. Share it with a friend, a brother, or a father who might be living with these same frustrations. And in the comments, tell me, which of these 5 foods will you start with, or share your own experience. Your story might be the reason another man takes his first step toward change. Every like, comment, and share is the fuel that lets us create more free, no-nonsense content to help men live with comfort, confidence, and vitality at any age. Because in the end, prostate health isn't just about one part of your body. It's about preserving the freedom to live the life you love. And from where I'm standing, gentlemen, that's a fight worth winning.